Hello, hello. Think we are live, we're rock and rolling. Hello, hello. Oh, it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. It has been a while. Too long for my liking. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me know we're all crack-a-lacking. There we are. There's everyone. Morning, morning. Anthony, good to see you. Nature, Bav, Alan, good to see you guys. Yes, welcome back, eh? Welcome back. ATC, good to see you. Yeah, welcome everyone. Cliff, all the way from Australia. Oh, it feels like it's been forever, isn't it, guys? I know I've been live a couple of times in the week doing some sim racing, but of course, been looking forward back to the F1. We kind of had a mini, that 2 weeks, such a long time without any F1. We sometimes think, oh, there's too much F1, but when we don't have it, we're very much like, oh, we need it back. So, but great to be back on schedule, exactly. What's the picture to the side of me? I haven't picked it up yet. I am scared of a bit of DIY, Chris. Yeah, I did used to have it behind my sim rig, so it's just like a canvas of Lewis Hamilton. So I've had it for like years. And I don't want to like put it away anywhere. I mean, I'd like to hang it up somewhere, but not while I moved everything to the front room. So, not the cursed shirt. Well, I'm wearing it on FP1. So I'm not wearing it for an official session. Technically, FP1 is an official session, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So, but yeah, welcome back, everyone. You're rolling out of bed, folk. Oh, my goodness. Evening, dog. Sprint qualifying later this day. Yes, it is a sprint race weekend, guys. So if you did tune into my preview, hopefully you all did. If you didn't, what you doing? But yes, we have a sprint race weekend here at Spa. And, well, the weather is going to play an influential role. Now, is it raining at the moment? I did tune into the F1, well, the non-F3 practice session for the Kurd, because it didn't go ahead, I think, did it? Oh, so today is now looking like it's going to be dry with 20 to 25% chance of rain. Whereas now Saturday is going to be wet and Sunday is going to be wet. But it's not overly wet, which is what is good for Spa because we can get too much. But then I'm looking at a different weather report, BBC weather report, and it's saying it is going to rain more. So, no, perfectly honest, no one really knows. No one really knows. So, the shirt's staying on. The shirt is staying on. Listen, I paid good money for this. I need to get my money's worth. I need to wear it. Am I a Ferrari fan? I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan. That's pretty much my thing, so. Do I have a McLaren t-shirt? I don't, Hiro, no. You guys have asked me this already. No, I don't have a McLaren shirt. Papaya isn't my favourite colour. It's too much papaya on the McLaren colours. If they went back to like the red and chrome, I'd be buying that shirt, yeah, straight away. But yeah, not the current colours. So we're just waiting for the live data to become available to us, guys, before we change scenes. So once that occurs, we will jump across to it and get everything all set up. But at the moment, we do have 15 minutes, just under 15 minutes, as you can see there, 14 minutes until the session. FP1 gets underway. So yeah, hopefully we have an interesting session ahead of us. Of course, only 1 hour practice for these teams to dial in their setups before we head into sprint quali in a few hours' time. And now, it's going to be an interesting one because, of course, the tyre allocations this weekend, if you tuned into the preview, in dry conditions at least, we have, of course, a skipping of compound. The first time they've done it since 2022, and only the second time they've done it since 2018 in the last 7 years. So, it's looks like we're not really going to see how that will play out come the race on Sunday because it is looking like there's going to be wet weather conditions and the teams will probably have a lot of tyres available to them. But if it was a normal sprint race weekend with dry weather conditions, it'd make the strategy really intriguing come Sunday. Hey Alan, good to see you. A Canadian in Belgium. Wow. What took you to Belgium, Alan? Not going to stick around for the stream, but you can catch me in the grandstands at Puon. Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, as always, we have had many of you guys who have been trackside and utilised this very stream to find out what is actually occurring out on track. So yes, be sure to tune in, Alan. But yeah, keep us up to date on anything. You are our trackside reporter for this weekend. You can let us know if it's raining, Alan. You can let us know. You can be putting the hand out and letting us know if there's rain at Puon and at Spa. So there we go. We have a very... You're employed for this weekend, Alan, and we'll talk about your fee afterwards. But you are our weather reporter for this weekend. Podium predictions for FP1. The FP1 session doesn't really matter in relation to top speed. In relation to the actual times themselves, because it's all about these teams going out there and getting as much practice as they possibly can to dial in their setups before, obviously, sprint quali. But we should still have at least some push laps in this session. So as they'll be getting dialed in for quali later on. Now remember, we will probably see the medium compound tyre used because the medium compound tyre is used mandatory in Q1 and Q2 for sprint quali, and then it's a soft tyre in Q3. So we'll probably see that from some of the teams to see how they are performing on that tyre on a push lap, and of course also for the race on Sunday as well, because it is most likely going to be if it is dry, that medium compound tyre will most likely be used. My co-presenter sounds lovely in the background. Yep, she's looking at me at the moment. She may be making an appearance like in a bit. Depends how good she is. But she can see me. She's smiling at me at the moment. Hello. Maybe I'll stick around, keep the phone topped up so I can give you the latest. Thanks, Alan. Thanks. Save your battery. Only you can report to me if it's raining. That's when you can jump in and let us know. Taco, good morning. Bloody 4 a.m. I appreciate you being up, mate. Appreciate you being up as always and modding these streams. Interestingly, we're still waiting for the live data. Is it available yet? It is available. Ooh, there we go. We can get set up. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. So, right, let's... I know, I'm getting a move on, okay? And you enjoyed the preview, but you clearly missed that Piastri will get the W. Maybe he will. I mean, of course, Silverstone was unfortunate for him, but look, I still think that was the correct decision. It was his fault, and he only has himself to blame. So yeah. Morning, Rob. Good to see you. Morning, Trudy. Good to see you. 8:20 in Australia. Positively polite. That's nice. That's a nice time for you, Steve. It's a nice time. So Ferrari want low and fast, not low and slow. Still love the old Cars movie. You brought out the Ferrari shirt again for a sprint weekend. I did. Look, it will be out Friday only. I'll put it away Saturday and Sunday unless they get pole position, and it will go in the wash tonight. And I'll wear it tomorrow as well. But is it raining now? No. So it isn't raining at the moment, guys. So you can see here. Apologies for a little one in the background if you can't hear her. Rain, no. Up here. So we do have this where it indicates whether it is raining or not. So, yeah. Have to listen to me in the van, Wonk? No worries, mate. No worries. Got to go earn that dollar. Morning, Mike. Good to see you. Welcome. Yes, good to see all you familiar faces, as always. Thank you for, last time around, thank you for the 50,000 subs that we hit last time around at Silverstone. A great achievement. Halfway through the season. Let's kick on and see if we can get ever closer to that 100k and get that silver plaque, which I can put right there. I know, I want it too. So yeah, no, big thank you as always, guys. Looking forward to Spa this weekend and in Hungary next weekend. Hopefully it provides, we've got 2 good races ahead of us. Of course, sometimes Spa can be a bit of a damp squib. Last year it was potentially looking like it was going to be an interesting race, but unfortunately with the effectiveness of the dirty air, it did mean that we got, unfortunately, not a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing. Although it was still an interesting finish with Lewis Hamilton chasing down George, who eventually got disqualified. But yeah, in real terms, with the entire advantage Lewis Hamilton had there, he should have comfortably been able to have overtaken George Russell, which is partly why Pirelli this time around have skipped a tyre compound. They've completely removed the C2 to try and make the C1 that much more unattractive of a tyre to use. But we might not even see the dry tyres come Sunday because it is looking like it is going to be very wet. But the weather report keeps changing, so hopefully, as we saw at Silverstone, hopefully it's an interchangeable condition race. That's where we get the most exciting ones. So, no worries, she's great. Thanks, Tiger. Yeah, not fast enough, she said. Not fast enough. I know. She's practicing her cornering speeds. Yeah, she's at the moment going through a phase where I tried recording that preview video, right? So I'm on paternity leave, so I'm daddy daycare at the moment while the missus is back to work, and I tried recording the video while she was the preview video while she was down comfortably playing with her toys, and I could do no such thing because every time I opened my mouth, she opened her mouth. So she's in a bit of a copying phase at the moment, so I had to wait till she was asleep. Really hoping the Ferrari upgrades for Lewis will make him faster. That's their plan. That's their plan, of course. We will see. They were very coy, of course, in the interviews that they had. Lewis Hamilton was like, he's still very downbeat about this car. He's putting more of his focus into 2026, which interestingly he did say he's had a part of and was in the sim, giving feedback on the development for 2026. So yeah, they'll be of course focusing on a track like Monza, a couple of tracks where maybe they expect to be quick. They'll obviously want to win Monza, but for this season it's already a write-off for them. So I think they're very much like, don't want to put too much effort into developing this car, and they're kind of accepting it for what it is. And it's all focus ahead for 2026. So, you went on the track tour announcer host with French drivers in the regional series. You chatted them up about Paul Aaron's path into Alpine as a reserve. Word is Aaron might get his crack at it soon. Maybe. I mean, look, it all primarily comes back to whether or not he's got enough money behind him. To be honest, Alan, I think that's it with Alpine. I think the highest bidder gets the seat, and Colapinto. Interestingly, yeah, Colapinto now into his 7th race. That's something that has kind of been a little bit overlooked, isn't it? Because he had a terrible Silverstone and binned it again in quali. That was his 6 of 5 races that he supposedly was given, wasn't he, when he first took over from Jack Doohan. Now he's into his 7th. So, yeah, been quiet on that front because of Christian Horner, of course. I didn't jump on the bandwagon, guys, and get a video out or a live stream out reacting to Christian Horner's demise at Red Bull. Wait until she's older, Scott. That's when the trouble begins. I know, Dan. I know. Hamilton in Fan Zone interview. This is one of the tracks where you actually feel like you're going somewhere. I'm actually excited to get in the car. Oh, well, quietly positive then from Lewis, but as a Lewis Hamilton fan in this current set of regulations, I always have low expectations for him. And then I'm always pleasantly surprised if he is like up towards the top. But Silverstone was a good opportunity for him to score an easy podium and to even potentially nick pole position as well, or at least get on the front row. So, yeah, if it's similar conditions here this weekend at Spa, track temperature and air temperature is similar to, I think, what we saw at Silverstone as well, because, of course, Belgium not too far away from the UK in the grand scheme of things. Very similar climates, really, Belgium and the UK. So, yeah, we might see a quietly positive race weekend again from Ferrari, but I still think those McLarens are going to be comfortably ahead. So, Jack's dad has plenty of money. Jack's dad has plenty of money, but he doesn't have as much money as the sponsors of Colapinto. There's levels of money. There's levels of rich, you know. So, what do I think about the chances of Max still winning the World Drivers' Championship? I think they've gone completely. Yes, they've gone completely. Because the McLarens are just... He's, 3 race wins behind now, Max? So he needs he needs both McLaren drivers who are separated by 8 points to basically have 3 DNFs, and for him to win all of those races to even still be within single points or double digits behind them. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen, really. So thank God Horner is gone. He was an HR department's nightmare. Morning, Mark. Good to see you. How's the weather this weekend? Looking wet, but at the moment it is dry. It is dry. But the F3 race earlier did have F3 practice. Did have postponement of their session because of fog. So, yeah, I don't think they was even able to get out there and do anything. I think their F3 practice has been postponed to later today, if I saw that correctly. I may have misread that, but if Franco just puts together a weekend, it will be great. Yeah, I mean, look, for a lot of these drivers as well, and especially with how long the season is, recency bias is truly a thing. You're only as good as your next race, as they say, or you're only as good as your last race, sorry. And if he puts in a great performance, then his fans and people will make a lot of noise online, and it'll be like, oh, well, Colapinto, what an amazing drive. Always knew he had it in him. I do think, as I said before, that he started on the back foot anyway, coming in at the season when he did, 6 months out of F1. Sometimes that's all you need is one good race weekend, especially where you've got sprint race weekend like this. Multiple opportunities to prove yourself and build confidence. So, corner on the Coldplay cam. I can't help but feel if Colapinto doesn't perform this weekend, then he'll not be in the car after the break. I think that's probably what's going to happen, is that there'll be an assessment. However, I still think money rules the roost, and the amount of money, I can't imagine the sponsors would be too happy if he gets removed from the car, even with poor performances. So, yeah, and money means a lot to Alpine at the moment. So, good day, Steve. Good to see you. Watching from Sydney. Oh, always good to see you guys. We have a lot of viewers from down under. So, yes, welcome everyone. And from across the world. So, yes, as always, thank you for tuning in. Just under 2 minutes until FP1 gets underway. Our sole practice session of this weekend, with it being a sprint race weekend. We have sprint quali this afternoon, guys. So, remember to tune in. Have your notifications set, as always. But yes, thank you for tuning in. Looked like we had a little bit of a drop-off there. Hopefully the stream is running A-OK. So, yeah, thank you. We are streaming live on Twitch as well, so I do see you, Townsy. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. So, yeah, if you prefer watching on Twitch, and if you've got a Prime sub, head over there and drop me a Prime sub. I will be trying to stream more on Twitch as well with sim racing streams and stuff. But always will be here on YouTube. Max and Mercedes for 2026 now, Jam. It looks like that might be a bit dead in the... Looks like 2026 might be dead in the water now. But that's primarily due to, of course, Horner's removal. I did say to my close friends that I think that Max will stay now. Horner's gone. I think it's a power move by them, and I think it is a last-ditch effort for, of course, them to try and save Max. With the performances as well, the poor performances of the team recently. There was performance clauses in Horner's contract, but I've been told someone within Red Bull, and that was primarily why they couldn't get rid of him sooner, is because he had a very airtight contract. Even though the tyres had the back in, the fact of the matter is that had his back, the fact of the matter is that he had an airtight contract that legally they wouldn't be able to get rid of him. But now the team aren't performing well. Everyone was talking about Max's performance clauses. Well, Horner had them in his contract, and that's why he was removed, with, of course, the perfect storm of Max Verstappen also looking like he was going to leave as well. So, yeah, I think Max is staying. I think it's always the smart decision to stay for 2026 and see what the lay of the land is and go from there. So, yeah. Which platform is better for me? Personally, YouTube. But, of course, you have to put yourself out there now these days and be kind of as many places as possible. So, but no, whatever you guys prefer. So I know some people prefer Twitch, some people don't. So I personally prefer YouTube, but it is what it is. But here we go, guys. Drivers out there, and wow, the hard compound tyre instantly being used here. So that, I think, for me right there, shows that maybe the teams aren't keen on using this tyre for Sunday, because you would have thought that the hard compound tyre, if it was going to be used this weekend, that's a tyre that, but of course the medium compound tyres, they only have a certain amount that they can use this weekend, and of course they need to use it for the sprint rate. They potentially need to use it for definitely sprint 1 and sprint quali 2, then the sprint race, and then the race on Sunday. So that's a lot of medium tyres that you need to use. So the hard compound tyre being used here by pretty much everyone apart from Ocon or Behrman at the moment to see what the lay of the land is here at Spa. So interesting. Facebook stream when? I forget I even have a Facebook, to be honest with you. How has Helmut not been sacked before Horner? Helmut is literally the reason for the driver sacking. And yeah, well, look, Helmut's relationship with Red Bull has always been very different to Christian Horner's. So Christian Horner is still at Red Bull. He's still a part owner of the Red Bull team. But he's been removed from operational perspective. So he's still at Red Bull. He's just not there in a working capacity, so he's still a shareholder. So yeah. What's up? So yeah. Hearing the baby brings sunshine to you more. I'm glad people do. We're a wholesome stream here. We're a family stream. So Horner's 20 years of glory. That's enough, I think. I don't know about the others, but to me, Lando and Oscar are like two little rats. Ooh. Harsh words there, harsh words. I like Piastri, I like Lando. I think it's panning out to be a good championship. I think it's going to be good for the sport that we're going to have a new championship winner for the first time since, of course, Max Verstappen back in 2021. No matter what, obviously, you have feelings-wise about how that season ended. As Sainz already says, I cannot accelerate. It's in just limp home mode. So Carlos Sainz already having issues on his outlap here at Spa. Not good for Williams, of course, have had many power unit issues. As it does say there, Carlos Sainz has come to a stop, but that's not the case. He is just going very slowly at this moment in time. So 40% rain for tomorrow and 70% for Sunday. It keeps changing, Rando. I mean, you have a look at varying weather reports and websites, and they are very different. Very, very different. So remove the Ferrari shirt. It's staying on. Staying on. So, what about Cadillac? Do I think Horner will join Cadillac? No. So I think Horner, the rumours are that, of course, he will be potentially an Alpine owner, part owner. Of course, they need the money. They're trying to sell the team. I think that'll be the case. Would Horner go back into a team in a team principal capacity? Not right now. I think maybe in 10 years' time, depending on what he wants to do. I think how the stories, of course, the paddock knows a lot more, but I reckon there's a lot of stories, and he's done a lot of damage to his reputation as a team principal. But I don't think a lot of teams would want to take him on, at least in the near future. I think it would be one of those where time's gone, maybe 5-10 years has gone by, and then maybe they'll go, oh, we need Christian Horner, and they'll hire him. Or I think he'll be in F1 in some capacity after a period of time. It wouldn't surprise me if he appears as a pundit on TV, for quite some time. Sky used to love interviewing him. Maybe he'll want to go into that role, maybe he won't. But yeah, he'll be in F1. He's got too much knowledge, so. Already spotted wing differences on the Ferrari, Connor. Declare trimmed out lower downforce wing. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, this is a very important circuit, guys, for setup. Because, of course, you are on throttle for over 70% of the lap here, at least in dry conditions. And, well, that means you want as much top speed as possible, because otherwise you'll be a sitting duck down the straights and the overtaking spots. But you still want some element of downforce and performance there, because you don't want to be losing control of the car in the tight middle sector, especially as you head into turn 5 and turn 6, Les Combes, and then of course down into No Name and Pouhon and that. You still want that downforce, but yeah, this is a track. This is why I think we may see something akin to what we saw at Silverstone. If we do get a dry qualifying, we may see a Max Verstappen or a Ferrari potentially on pole position or fighting for the front row, because they can run a lower downforce setup and get away with it. But then come the race, different story if it's wet, of course. So, will I stream for the next 2 years, Bino? Hopefully. Yes, I hope to do this for the foreseeable. So it's not full-time for me, but I would love to, obviously, this to be full-time, but I will be streaming for the foreseeable. I love it, and I love F1, and I love these watch-alongs. So, yeah. This is multi-viewer. I feel the higher downforce configuration is the way to go for the race here, wet or dry. It may be. Yeah, I mean, this is what the teams are going to be thinking about, and they'll be keeping a keen eye on the weather this weekend. Now, remember, sprint race weekend, they are allowed to change their setups after the sprint race. So they are locked in after FP1 for the sprint quali. Whatever you choose for sprint quali, you have to use for the sprint race. But then after that, for qualifying on Saturday afternoon for the main race on Sunday, they can change their setup. That never used to be the case, but they can do now. And yeah, that has provided. That's why you see sometimes a complete change up of the order from the sprint quali and sprint race to the race on Sunday. So look how dusty the track is still. Well, they've had no practice, have they? I think F3 didn't even get out there earlier. Did F2 get out there and do some lap times? I'm not sure. So, now how about the tyres this weekend? There is a gap in the compounds, and with a sprint weekend, this practice is quite tricky. It is indeed, Freddie, yes. Unfortunately, though, the skipping of the compounds, I'm not sure we're going to see how that will play out for the race this weekend because, because of the weather conditions that are forecasted, I don't think it's going to end up being... I don't think we're going to see that play out, unfortunately. So... Breaking news, Stuffeyy mid-season draft into F1 commentary. What did you say, Connor? F2 did run. Okay, F2 did run. But yeah, I mean, they should have had F3 earlier as well, and that should have helped things, but it didn't. So where's Lando? I said the guys are losing their transponder a little bit signal, aren't they, through turn 13 and turn 14. As you can see. But so I'm just looking at the times. 1:45.5 from Verstappen there on the medium, Norris on the hard. So apparently there's one, I'm hearing on the TV coverage, there is only one more set of hards available for the teams. So they are still potentially holding a set back for Sunday. But I feel like Sauber is not going to score points this weekend though. I mean, look, never say never. Really never say never. As I said in my predictions, I do think that we may see... I think we could see a topsy-turvy race again like we saw at Silverstone. I think the only constant is going to be McLaren again because we know just how good they are. I mean, they were absolutely supreme when it came to those wet conditions. And I think we may see something akin here again. But we've seen plenty of safety cars and red flags here at Spa before. I think it's going to be a very eventful weekend as a whole. As we mentioned earlier, the weather reports... It's saying around 20% at the moment. The weather report I'm looking at, it keeps changing, to be honest with you. Another weather report I saw said it was going to be dry on Saturday. Now it's saying rain. I don't know. I really don't know. So it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. But it makes things interesting. Crofty out Stuffeyy. Look, in fairness to Crofty, when Crofty isn't commentating, I think you realise how good he actually is. To be honest with you, I think it's quite common for people to, when someone's been doing something for quite a long time, it's quite common for people to kind of go, oh, we want to change up or whatever. But you don't realise how good the guy is, or you don't realise what you got until it's gone. And I feel like that's the case with Crofty. So that's just my personal opinion. But everyone smashing the hard already, wasn't expecting that. No, I agree, Connor, but they do have two sets apparently. They do have two sets. But the medium is a very important tyre this weekend. It's going to be used a lot. SQ1, SQ2, it needs to be used. It needs to be used probably in the sprint race, and it's going to be used in the race on Sunday as well, if it is dry. So that's 4 sets already, really, but they need to use, so yeah. The F1 TV commentators are loads better. Yeah, F1 TV, I like F1 TV. It's a shame we don't have it here in the UK. But yeah. Looks like someone's took the sword to Leclerc's wing. He's going for top speed, isn't he? You'll be increased Sky subscribers if I do their commentary. Maybe, maybe not. We are worldwide, so maybe not, obviously, with them being UK-based. But Piastri to the top of the timing screens there, 1:44.9. So, interestingly, pole position of last year, it was a wet... Was it a wet quali? It was a wet quali last year, wasn't it? So, didn't really get... The quali last year, we don't really know what that fastest lap... So, fastest lap, I think, last year in the race was the 1:44. So, they're already at that, to be honest with you, from last year. Let me have a look at... having a look what last year's kind of fastest lap was. Bear with me, guys, bear with me just while I look at this for you all. So the fastest laps last year, Yeah, 1:44.7 was what Sergio Perez set in the race last year. So that's kind of what we've got to go on because it was a wet quali last year. So 1:44.7. In practice one, we did see a 1:43.3 from Max. That was in practice. We saw 1:42 in practice 2. Okay, so 1:42.2 was the fastest time we saw last year in any session in qualifying. Sorry, in there last year, basically. So we're still a good few seconds off that, but they are on the hard. So are there channels that do the WEC watch along? There are some, I think. I did look at maybe trying to do Le Mans. The problem, as I said, I have a specific way that I want to do watch alongs with track maps and so forth. You don't always get a track map available for the sessions. That's what I mean. I'd like to do F2 and F3, but you don't get track maps, which makes things tricky. So maybe hopefully it's something that is available in the future. Make my weekends very busy, but that's something I'd like to do and keep an eye on. So. How have you got all the way over there? Bear with me for a sec, guys. Just need to move little one. Oh, let's bring you in. Come on. There we go. Happy now? There she goes. I'll leave my headphones off. Don't really need that, so. She's not in her cot. She wants to stand up now. I'll see how long she lasts here. She's probably going to be quite agitated, to be fair. So she's 10 months now. 10 months, so yeah, she's getting there. On the steering wheel, Max Verstappen, we're 44.2, so we are starting to see the track start to ramp up a little bit. But of course, he's on the medium compound tyre. New commentator, yeah, she's new commentator. Well, we can hear. There we go. She's all good. She's all good. You're going to be calm, please. Alonso up into P5. Lance Stroll still yet to set a time. Carlos Sainz, of course, as we mentioned, already had a power unit issue. Who had a lock up there? Someone just had a big lock up into La Source, one of the Alpines. I wonder if that was Colapinto, as Gasly up there in P11 at the moment. Of course, lots of eyes on the Ferrari, as we mentioned, running different rear wings, as Connor pointed out for us. Charles Leclerc running a more lower downforce setup. Lewis Hamilton of new rear suspension on that car that hopefully is going to allow them to run that car in a configuration that they want to ensure that they don't get disqualified, as we saw in China. So, what are her opinions on the Horner firing? Oh, well, she was very disappointed about the whole debacle of the Red Bull team, you know. We had a very in-depth discussion. Franco cooking 3 seconds off the pace. Love to see it, yeah. So watching an on-board of Kimi Antonelli. What did he do? You're not supposed to laugh at drivers locking up. Unbelievable. That's rude. We like Kimi Antonelli. Max is first. Let's hope it stays that way until the end of the race, and it'll be great. Yeah, I mean, look, the Max Verstappen at Red Bull looks like he may be staying there now, if Toto Wolff's words are to be believed. I personally still think I don't trust anything that comes out of their mouths until like there's an official announcement that that George Russell has been retained. So yeah, Colapinto back into the pit, so he's not happy, is he? So. Can Ferrari get top 3 this weekend? I think they can, TC. Yeah, I think they can. They're obviously experimenting at the moment with a lower downforce wing because, of course, top speed is very essential here. There may be potentially a dry quali this afternoon with a potential dry sprint race tomorrow morning. So they may have seen, I think a lot of teams would have seen, as Hamilton says, I'll have a lot of rear lock-in and instability as he's down in 16th at the moment. So I think with particularly what happened last week with Max Verstappen at Silverstone, I think there'll be a lot of teams that look at that and go, that's a risk worth taking, having a lower downforce setup for quali in a dry quali with potentially a wet race the next day, because you're better off holding on to try and hold on to track position than you are to probably try and gain. Of course, Silverstone, there were lots of drivers that gained, none more so than Nico Hülkenberg. But Max would have had a comfortable P3 last time around, even with that setup, if it wasn't for that spin, which I do think him almost coming to an absolute standstill when Oscar Piastri eventually got his penalty on the safety car restart. I think that did play a factor in his tyre temperatures and him being in the right window on the restart. But yeah, we've seen in this era that track position is key. And I think Silverstone was only the second race. I think Silverstone was only the second race of this season where the lead car into the first corner hasn't won. So, hey Graham, good to see you. Jarvis, you swear Franco is purposely going slow, repeatedly being a few seconds off pace is just something else. Well, look, I mean, 3 seconds is not great off of the get-go, considering his teammate is a full second quicker than him at the moment. But you got to remember, this is a FP1 session where there's a lot that the teams need to get done in the first session. They'll be doing some high fuel runs. They'll be doing some performance runs. There's a lot that they'll be doing right now, trying to dial in the setup at the same time, because they only have 1 hour before we then head into sprint quali in a few hours' time. So, demanding he use the names of each corner and not number. I mean, that's something that I need to do, to be fair. I know most of the corner names here. It's the ones... Which corner names do I struggle? I always forget. I always forget turn 8. I always forget turn 8, the turn 12 chicane, and turn 14 and 15. They're the corners I always forget here. So, I know No Name is 9. I know Puon obviously is 10 for 11. Who do I think will win the race random? As I said before, my preview prediction was Norris, but don't know. Really don't know. I think it'll be one of the 2 McLarens personally, unless they collide, which we have seen teammates collide here in the past. Remember, so what's the baby's favourite team? Oh, she looks like she's a Ferrari fan. To be fair, you like Ferrari? No idea why driver onboards aren't working. Oh, I was going to say Verstappen went fastest in the first sector there. Tsunoda's just gone fastest in the first sector. So let's see how Tsunoda gets on. Is she a Ferrari fan because she cries after every race? Maybe. I still have... She found that funny. I still haven't seen the F1 movie. No, I'm in no rush to see it, to be honest with you. I'll probably wait for it to come out on, like, TV or something, or on Apple TV, and I'll stream it. So, I've heard it's very long as well. I've heard it's unnecessarily long, like over 2.5 hours, which is a bit much. So, but no, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll watch it when it probably comes out, yeah, on a streaming platform where I can have a nice bottle of wine, some snacks. Be a lot cheaper as well watching it from home than going to the cinema. That's my only big... I used to love going to the cinema, but it is quite expensive now, unfortunately, isn't it? So, they could be okay at the time she can buy her own tickets. Yeah, Yuki's been doing well for the first sector. Yeah, so 45.9 in the middle sector is not so good, but is that an indication that maybe he's running a little bit less downforce than that of Verstappen? So we could probably see that trend as he went up to P3 there. Not bad. Esteban Ocon, by the way, into P2. No, don't press the stream deck because we don't want to ruin the stream, okay? People are watching. Over 1,000 people are watching. Not that you know what that means. Yuki couldn't get upgrade that Max got. Could he not, Pike? I mean, that has been the trend, of course, as it always has been at Red Bull. Tsunoda, the second driver, has always received updates secondary to Max Verstappen. So, how does the DRS work in the how the DRS works in the F1 movie will definitely make me laugh, will it? It definitely is long, but it's so good. Focuses more on the actual racing rather than the politics behind the racing, like some other films do. Yeah, I mean, look, Rush in particular was a lot to do with like the politics and the rivalry with Prost and Hunt. I think that was a brilliant movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm saying I'm going in there with low expectations. I haven't got low expectations for it. I know what the film is. I know it's not a 100% accurate film. Like, so I'm going in there with just, yeah, to enjoy it, you know, so. Is there anything I would change at the Spa circuit, Carl? No, I think Spa is brilliant as it is. I really do. The cars I would change, like, because we saw last year that dirty. That's my only concern about this weekend, is that if it is a dry race, even with the tyre compound changes, will we see good racing? I'm not sure. Because last year we saw, of course, no overtakes, pretty much. It was quite boring. I know I saw Charles Leclerc just go off there. As Charles did go to the top of the timing screens, yeah, on the hards. But I think it's perfect. I think the changes that they've made over the years to the bus stop chicane, and obviously they've widened Eau Rouge for safety reasons. Obviously the escape up there. I think it's perfect. It's a great circuit. So it just needs cars where it's a bit more easier. Oh, Bortoletto not happy, mate. What the F is Hamilton doing? He's always in the middle of the track. Oh, Bortoletto not happy. Oh my God, Charles Leclerc. Oh my God, Charles Leclerc having to get out of the way of, was it Hamilton and Bortoletto? So. Want to feel old, Fernando is faster than you, was 15 years ago today. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, 15 years ago. I was 13. It's 13, wow. But yeah, only 3 drivers out on track at the moment, and Colapinto is the first driver out on a set of softs. So remember, only 1 hour practice session here this weekend, and we are nearly through the halfway mark of this FP1 session, and drivers will be making some changes. They're probably taking some fuel out of the car to see how quick their car actually can go here at Spa. So yeah, let's see how they fare. Colapinto needing a big weekend. Let's see if he can launch himself up the timing screens here and build some confidence. So I felt old when you said it was your 17th birthday, Taco. The fact that you're born after the year 2000 is like, yeah, ridiculous. So, actually, you were born in 2008. Is that right? No. How many? 20 years? Yeah. 2008? 2007? I was leaving secondary school in 2008. It's not right. It's not right. You enjoyed the F1 movie, it's definitely over the top of the effects and rule breaking, but that's Hollywood license for you. Exactly, that's like any Hollywood sports movie at the end of the day. So, Lando, we can be world champions, I said. Please, Lando. I mean, he has the potential this weekend to go to the top of the championship standings again. So there is an 8-point difference at the moment, and if he was to win both the sprint race and the race on Sunday, he would be 1 point ahead of Oscar Piastri. So, because there's of 7 points difference, 25 to 18 for the race on Sunday, and then there's 1 point difference pretty much. That's if Oscar Piastri finishes second, of course, but vice versa, Oscar Piastri could extend his championship lead as well by 8 points. So, if they were to finish second, it could be the other way around. So, what do I think about the new suspension on the Ferrari? Absolutely no idea, to be honest with you. It's too early to say. Very, very too early to say. The track is starting to ramp up. It is not raining there at the moment. It is nice conditions, actually. It's blue sky. Blue sky at Spa, from what I can see on the TV coverage. So, yeah, we won't know. We won't know until really the race on Sunday, I think, because the thing is with the Ferraris that they've always... The thing with the sprint race weekends is that, of course, your starting fuel is a lot lighter than what it is for a race on Sunday, so your starting ride height can be lower. it can be lower. You're very loud. It can be lower. So because of that, they have obviously gained performance when it comes to the sprint races. But for the sprint race, for the actual full race, they have obviously been not very good or far off the pace. But Silverstone was a good performance for them, so we'll see how they are. Do I do promotion? In what sense promotion, vlogger? Do you mean promotion of brands and things like that? No. We don't press the buttons. Only if Oscar doesn't get ripped again. True, but I still say that decision was correct. I know people said it was harsh, but I think ultimately, like, why are you doing that? Why are you playing so close to the line? At the end of the day, there was no need for him to do that, but he did. So, yeah, we can have a discussion, vlogger, if you join my Discord. Only if Oscar doesn't get ripped again. Sorry, I've read that one already. Spa is the only circuits left that suits modern F1 car, that and Silverstone. I think there's a few. I think there are a few tracks. Red Bull Ring as well, as we saw. There was great racing there. So, I think there's a few. So, right, Missy, you okay now? Yeah. I'm just gonna put you down. You can watch Dougie. Dougie's on the TV. Yeah, Dougie. 101 parenting right here. Oh, there we go. She's okay. Right? Yeah. She's good. Oh, right. Dougie is pig. Right, Rebel Racing is great for modern F1 just because of the back-to-back DRS, and I'm down for that. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, how brilliant was it to see Oscar Piastri stay on the attack of Lando Norris for so long? Because, yeah, you need basically like a full second advantage to get past and pull away from the car behind, because the DRS is so effective. Here, there's of course the 2 DRS zones down the start-finish straight, which is a bit null and void now anyway because of the effectiveness of the slipstream from turn 1 all the way down to turn 5 with DRS down the Kemmel straight. As Oscar Piastri goes fastest in the middle sector there. So at the moment, the fastest first sector belongs to the 2 Red Bulls, by the way, which is interesting because, incident involving cars Colapinto and Russell, noted for impeding. So that's Colapinto. Oh, dear. Sainz still out the pits, by the way. Oh, and actually, no, speaking of the devil, he's coming out of the pit lane right now. So Carlos Sainz, who only did an out lap, has just lost 30 minutes of this practice session. Not looking good for Carlos Sainz and Williams, is it, with that power unit? They did say to themselves that they had to sacrifice a lot of performance to ensure that they could add more cooling to the car to ensure that the engine doesn't go pop. So we'll see if how he's going to fare, Sainz. You think the rival of Lando... Do I think the rival of Lando is himself, Carolina? I do. Yes, I do still think, and I've said this, it might be controversial, I still think raw pace and overall performance, I do think Lando is better than Piastri. And that's because, yeah, he has just proven on those weekends where he gets everything right, he has comfortably got the better of Piastri. But he's not as consistent as Piastri. He gets in his head and he gets down on himself, and that's where he has those poor performances. Like, as I mentioned, Piastri has only had 2 races this year where he's qualified outside the top 3 or top 2, which is like his lowest qualifying performance has been 4th, which he's done twice. One of those races he won, which was Miami. Norris has qualified 8th, he's qualified 7th. He's had some very poor weekends. And I do think at this stage of their careers, not to say in the future, in the long term for Piastri, because he's only in his 3rd season, so arguably I agree to an extent that his ceiling is potentially higher than Norris's. But at this current stage in their careers, I do think Norris is the better driver, but he's definitely not the most consistent driver. And that's what he needs to get on top of. If he is more consistent, then I think he easily wins this championship. But it's always some buts, so... You saw me at Goodwood, Nelson, but I was on the other side of the track. You should have hopped over the track, over the hay bales, and come and said hello. It was a great day out. I got a brilliant tan as well, and the missus was very jealous. Who do I think will have the fastest car if the regulation changes? How long's a piece of string? Generally don't know. People are banking on Mercedes because they dominated the last engine reg changes. That's a safe bet. But I generally don't know. Ferrari could smash it. Honda could smash it with Aston Martin. Red Bull could smash it with Ford after all the worries with them. And then Max wins multiple more world championships. So no one knows. No one knows. So Hamilton shoots to the top of the time and shoots a quali. Delulu fan. Never say never. Never say never. I mean, look, there is going to be push laps coming soon, I imagine. We will see. I don't think any of these teams are going to use the medium. Will they use a set of softs? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a set of softs be used. But they obviously want to save the softs for quali tomorrow, potentially. I mean, it depends on the weather. It's so difficult. So I'd say Norris has raw pace but makes more errors. Piastri tends to wear out his tyres but makes less errors. Exactly. Yeah. And the key thing here is at this stage of their careers, Norris is in what? His 7th, 8th year of F1. Piastri's in his 3rd year and he's already fighting for a world title. So, like, yes, you have to position yourself in the correct team. But the fact of it, he's battling Lando Norris. Like, Piastri, I rate very, very highly. Always have done. Like, he won back-to-back F3 and F2 titles for a reason. Same as Gabriel Bortoleto. These are super adaptable drivers, and Piastri has managed to get on top of his biggest weakness, which was his tyre management, in his 3rd year of F1. It's a lot better now, and while he still maybe isn't as good as Norris, I think Norris is very, very underrated when it comes to his tyre management. And that's not to say that Piastri is bad, but it's something that obviously when your teammate is able to excel at something, it makes you, who maybe it's not your strongest point, look worse than it actually is. But Piastri has definitely been able to get more on top of that this season, hence why he's so more consistent, hence why he's been able to win 5 races already. And yeah, he's leading the championship for a reason. And when you're so consistent as well, like Piastri has been, it can be demoralising. It can grind down your arguably more overall better performing driver, like competitor, because it's like they know they have to perform at the best of their abilities every race weekend, otherwise they're going to lose ground on their teammate. So yeah. Wonder how will Lando do wheel to wheel against Max? Feel like we haven't seen them together as much. No, that's true. I mean, yeah, we haven't really had an opportunity to see that, have we? Because Max, when there have been opportunities for wheel to wheel, the only last time I can remember was Miami, and he eventually got the better of him, didn't he? Arguably could have dispatched him a bit sooner, but still dispatched him. Had much more obviously superior car to Max. So yeah, we're not likely going to see Max and Norris and Piastri go wheel to wheel that often, I think, for the remainder of the season. I could be wrong though. I mean, I hope I am wrong, because it'd be great drama for us all. That's what we want to see. Norris didn't have the fastest car in his first season. No, and there's that too, Georgian. Yeah, I mean, there's also that. People will remember that Lando did outperform a McLaren in the years when McLaren was still struggling. He got obviously he got a couple of podiums in that time when he shouldn't have done. So yeah, I think I've always said it before. I think Lando gets unnecessary hate. I think people, I don't know, they like to look down on Lando, but both of those drivers are fighting for a world championship, because yes, they're in a fast car, but as even Lando Norris said himself, oh, you're just in the fastest car. Well, he's finding out this year that it's not all about just having the fastest car. You still need to be able to convert that. You still need to be able to drive the fastest car to race wins, and that's what Piastri and Norris are comfortably able to do at the moment. So I am very biased. I'm not biased. I have always said that there is logic behind my opinions and thoughts. So if you think that's biasness, then fair enough. But biasness is when, in my personal opinion, biasness is when you are just emotionally rooting for a driver or saying something without any logic behind it. And I never do that here. Never do that here. Oscar's consistency will win in the World Drivers' Championship this season, leaving Lando twitching nervously behind him. Very, very big potential of that happening, Alan. Of course there is. Look, I've said it before. I think this championship will go down to the end of the season, and I hope it goes down to the end of the season because that's what we want as racing fans. So people can't relate to Lando because he comes across entitled just like George. I can see why. Yeah, I can see why. He's made some comments in the past, of course, that people haven't necessarily taken too kindly to. But I don't know, I kind of just think people, they say, sometimes they say things in the heat of the moment, and sometimes they say, we've all said stupid things in the past. And I kind of look over that, to be honest with you. We all have biases, even when especially we're unaware of it. Of course we do. Of course we all have biases. But I try and be as unbiased as possible. You think Oscar and Lando will recreate 2021? You think? I don't think so. I think there's too good of a relationship between them. I think they're two very different drivers compared to Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg as well, for even there to be like a 2016 scenario, or 2015 scenario, 2014 scenario. I don't see the relationship going that way. I think Oscar's very too kind of like chilled, laid back outside of the car compared to... I mean, even last weekend, obviously, he was very... last race weekend, he was very miffed off about a penalty, but ultimately, he shrugs stuff off very quickly and very easily, and he's able to get over those things very quickly compared to, let's say, necessarily Lando and what like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton's relationship was. But Lando has a better raw pace still on a good day, though at the rate Piastri has been improving over his career, I wouldn't be surprised if he'll surpass Lando even in that regard. Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Piastri's ceiling is definitely very high. It's definitely very high. The reason why Webber faltered and Vettel shined, Bottas didn't, and Hamilton did, Massa didn't, but Alonso did. Say you're biased because you insulted their favourite driver. Oh, Hadjar reporting, I nearly lost it in Eau Rouge, so not very happy to try with this. There's something broken, or are the tyres okay, or what? So, Hadjar, very, very scary moment for Eau Rouge there. Could have been a very, very big one. Do I think Daniel Ricciardo will return? No, I don't think he will. No, I think his time in F1 has come to an end. And I think for the right reason. I think it was time as well. Like, look, he got given a second opportunity with the RB, and I don't think he did anything that really showcased that he deserved, at minimum, deserved an opportunity to maybe go into the Red Bull to replace Sergio Perez at the time. But I don't think he's done anything that showcases that he deserves a third opportunity in F1. Look, we need to look forward, look to the future. And look, we've had rookies in this year who have pleasantly surprised us. Bortoletto, Behrman, Hadjar. So, like, yeah, we need to look to the future, need to look to the youngsters, Antonelli as well, and that's where it's at, rather than drivers who, unfortunately, yeah, passed it. So, yes. Hello. Next season... Oh, sorry, what was that? There's a few comments coming in here. Next season, though, I think just how much Piastri is growing will be so difficult to beat. Yep. As a Gen Alpha, I wasn't watching F1 in the Hamilton era. In my view, he won every World Championship with the best car, except the controversial 2008, where Max won 21 and 24 in an inconsistent car. Ooh, bold claims, bold claims. I disagree that Lewis had the quickest car throughout his whole career. Not his whole career through Mercedes. Yes, Mercedes had one of the quickest cars. So 2014, 15 and 16. I'm trying to speak here. This is a very important topic. Thank you. Right. Let's try that again, shall we? Sorry, rudely interrupted by the little one. Lewis had 2014, 2015, 2016, yes, the quickest car, but he still fought off a very, very good teammate in Nico Rosberg. Then 2017, was it 2017? 2017 was the quickest car. 2018, 2019, I think it was 2018, 2019. Arguably, Vettel in the Ferrari was the quicker car. They should have comfortably have won that championship, but they didn't, and Lewis did. Then 2021, the Red Bull was as quick, if not quicker, than the Mercedes across the majority of the season. So I disagree there, really. You agree with Mila. Lando's nervous like Jeddah because the hate, the Lando hate, that makes sense. I agree he gets too much hate. I think he really does get too much hate. So you are right, Kevin. She does want attention. Imagine what she's going to be like when she can actually form opinions. And she can actually form words. You think I'm bad. You think I can talk. Just you wait. The double act in the Stuffeyy and Mila double act in the future. You're not prepared. You're not prepared. So 2017 Ferrari was leading until Singapore. I knew it was 2 years. I couldn't remember if it was 2019 or 2018. Sorry, I couldn't remember out of those 3 years, 2017, 18 or 19, where the Ferrari was better. But it was 2 years where Vettel should have won 2 championships. But Ferrari did Ferrari things. So Project Lily Verstappen. I don't have enough money for Project Lily Verstappen. I don't, yeah. Nah. Too expensive. Motorsports, too expensive. So she will drown me out. She will. She'll be starting her own rival YouTube. Do you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like Anthony and Lewis Hamilton. We join up. It's a joint thing, and then she's like, "No, I can do this better than you," and she's going to go start her own channel. That'd be rivalry in the Stuffeyy household. So, what do you mean? All streamers are rich. Fake news, Taco. Fake news. Right. Should we actually talk about some stuff that's happening out on track? We do have a lot of drivers out on track at the moment, but only still on the hard compound tyres. So we're seeing Max Verstappen and Tsunoda use the same set of mediums. Behrman as well, and Esteban Ocon. So that's potentially why they are a little bit higher up the standings here at the moment on the medium compound tyre. Colapinto on the softs, still 7 tenths back from Charles Leclerc, who is on the hards, and Hamilton on the hards as well. But only 2 tenths separating the 2 drivers, but they do have different setup configurations with a noticeably different rear wing on Leclerc and Hamilton. Charles Leclerc running a bit more lower downforce, it seems, compared to Lewis Hamilton. But yes, the teams... Are we going to get some proper performance laps? Maybe. But of course, sprint quali in a few hours' time, and with 16 minutes remaining, there's still a lot of what the teams probably want to get done. And they might not put the softs on because they want to save them throughout the duration of this weekend. So, medium compound tyre to be used in SQ1 and SQ2 as well, remember, guys, and then a soft tyre in SQ3 if you make it through to it. So that's also something that the teams are thinking about for the duration of this session. Who do I think is better rookie? Hadjar or Antonelli? You'd throw in Behrman. He was quite faster than Ocon, average in clean air. Do you mean who's been the best rookie overall? I think for consistency, and the car he's in, I think Isaac Hadjar has been, especially after the start to his season as well with what happened in Australia. He could have completely gone backwards, but he hasn't. So yeah, I think he's overall done brilliantly, Isaac Hadjar. I think Behrman has shown that he can be. I think Behrman has shown probably the best raw pace when he's been able to, when that Haas has been performing, but his inconsistency and the fact that he seems to be going colourblind and ignoring red flags shows that he's shown rookie behaviour, and he needs to sort that out in the second half of the season for sure. Antonelli's done a very good job as well. I saw a video from someone who was like, why Antonelli's season has been poor, or something like that. And it was probably a clickbaity title. And I was just like, really? Antonelli has done everything that I think he could, that Mercedes would want from him in the first half of this season. Yes, the last couple of races haven't been too great. Of course, the biggest mistake was a Red Bull ring. But for the most part, like scoring a podium in Canada and consistently scoring points, I think he's been very good. Tremendous. So Gap between Leclerc and Piastri is so small, but who will get the quickest? Yeah, don't look too much into the times at the moment, but the fact that Leclerc is towards the top of the timing screens does bode well for Ferrari, of course, heading into sprint quali. Christian Horner to buy 20% of Alpine. Maybe. That's what a lot of rumours are, aren't there? There's a lot of rumours, so... Give her some screen time. She wants to be on stream. Nah, she's all right. She's watching Dougie now. She's happy watching Dougie. So, but 13 minutes, 13 and a half minutes remaining. Lots of drivers in the pits now. So hopefully we'll see some push laps. Let's see what the teams are going to do. As Stroll is out on a set of softs, but I just noticed there. Interesting. Let's see if anyone else decides to slap on a set of softs and set a couple of push laps, or at least one push lap in the closing stages of this session. So... Isaac has done it in a slower car. No, I agree, which is why Isaac is my top rookie at this midway point of the season. So, do they get an extra set of tyres during sprint weekend? No, they don't, Rab. No. Started watching F1 in 81, Richard. The V10s definitely had the best sound. Best racing was when the cars were smaller and moved about on track. It was up to the driver to control the car. No electronics. Yeah, no, I think if you look at the old footage, you can see that the cars, I think, look quicker, even though they actually weren't in lap time. It's because they were smaller, nimbler on these much bigger tracks. And yeah, I can speak from experience now by going to Goodwood and hearing all the different engines. The V10 is by far the best. By far the best. Why is there no actual footage of the laps, Ice Cube? That is because of copyright reasons. We are not allowed to show actual TV coverage because otherwise you'll get banned off of YouTube and done for copyright. So. Because of the sprint, there will be no FP3 tomorrow. You are correct, Stefano. So the format for this weekend is FP1 now. Then we have sprint qualifying this afternoon in about 3 hours' time. The stream, when I end the stream, it will take you over there. It will take you over to that stream. Then we have sprint race tomorrow morning. Then we have, in the afternoon, qualifying for the main race on Sunday. And that is the format for this weekend. Haven't been watching the splits, hard and medium. Is there an obvious difference? Yes, so the hard compound this weekend is a C1 and the medium is the C3. So there's 2 steps softer, basically, is the medium compared to the hard. So peak F1 was when the engines blew up all the time. I saw the amount of revs they were getting in the car. Piastri could be the first driver that could clinch all 3 titles, F3, F2 and F1. Really? Has no driver done that before? Maybe in the current format of F3 and F2, but it used to be like GP2, didn't it? Like GP3, GP2 or whatever. So, yeah, the Ferrari shirt's working all right at the moment, guys, isn't it? It's working all right at the moment. For those of you who went take it off, look who's top of the timing screens. Yeah. But Antonelli back out there onto the hards, by the way, out the pit lane. George Russell doing some long runs, it seems. Stroll fastest in the middle sector, understandably, on a set of soft compound tyres. 44.493 from him. But everyone else still in the pits at the moment with 10 minutes remaining. It is still nice and sunny out there, so no rain in the air as it currently stands. But that could change, of course, for sprint quali in a few hours' time. As Stroll has just gone a full second quicker than Charles Leclerc. Stop the count, everyone. Stop the count. Oh, here we go. Right, here we go. Piastri on a set of softs. Push laps. Here we go. Performance runs. Here we go, guys. But, of course, a very long lap round here. So, yeah, we'll have a bit of time until Piastri actually crosses the start-finish line to start his push lap. He's going to have a monumental crash now, but I've brought it up. No, he won't. What other circuit would I like to see a sprint race, Carl? Oh, I do. Where do we get overtaken? That's the primary thing. I think we should have seen one at the Red Bull Ring. To be honest, I think that would have been good because we know that overtaking is possible there. I don't know. That's a tough question, to be honest. That is a bit of a tough question. So. Stroll P1, not something we usually see. No, it is not. So, Cadillac are going to be nowhere near front till 2028, will they? I mean, who knows? It all depends on the Ferrari power units. So, Cadillac are bringing in their own engine, GM Motors, in 2029, when supposedly there's already going to be alterations to the current engine regs for 2026. So 2026 engine regs, guys, are only lasting for 3 years before they're changing again for 2029. And the fact that GM Motors are coming in to provide their own power unit in 2029 is very telling that that will be the case, because they were initially foreseen to be coming in 2028, but they're not, 2029 now. So yeah, but right, let's keep an eye on Oscar Piastri, shall we? The first driver, the first of the quick boys, our championship leader at the moment, down into turn 1. So let's see how he fares. Now remember, 142 was the quickest time we saw last year in a dry session. Qualifying last year was in the wet, so we didn't get to see a proper Q3 pole lap, push lap last year. But let's see how Piastri fares as he makes his way down the Kemmel Straight DRS Open, down into the hard braking zone of Lacombe turn 5. Of course, a very quick right left here. We see plenty of incidents here in the past through this section, as he makes his way through that section there into turn 7. Down into turn 8, I forget the name of turn 8, and he'll make his way through no name very shortly there. Very long right-hander. Turn 8, where the corner falls away from you. You want to get on throttle so early, but have to be very patient. Now into the very fast left-hander downhill pull-on, where we have some viewers sitting today. Keeping an eye on the weather for us. Trackside. Then how has he fared through this middle sector? He will be crossing that line very shortly, but a 33.391 in the middle's first sector, by the way, from Oscar Piastri is actually nearly 2 tenths down, 1.5 tenths down on Yuki Tsunoda, who set that time on a medium. But that middle sector, 43.5, is a full second quicker than Lance Stroll, who set the previous fastest lap in the middle sector, previously fastest middle sector. So as he makes his way through Blanchimont up into the braking zone of the bus stop chicane, let's see how he fares here. What lap time is it going to be? I'm not sure if he got held up maybe with some dirty air or something through the first sector, which is why he was a bit slow. But a purple last sector as well for the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. That's a 42.1, and there we go. That is straight on the money there, and quicker than I think the fastest lap we saw last year. But Max Verstappen flying through that first sector. 30 flat, a 30-second flat for Max Verstappen in that first sector, which does indicate to me that Oscar Piastri did he definitely lost quite a considerable amount of time through that first sector when he did his initial push lap there, maybe with some traffic. But very busy out there at the moment. Every car's out there. Every car is out there, guys. So let's see how they fare. So who we keep an eye on? We're keeping on Verstappen. That's it. Max Verstappen is on a push lap at the moment. So let's keep an eye on Verstappen as he makes his way through the middle sector. Fernando Alonso did a very good first sector, but then lost a lot of time in the middle sector in particular. Albon up into P4 there as well. Let's keep an eye on Max, though. Max is pushing. We've got Hamilton and Leclerc on their laps at the moment as well, as Leclerc makes his way down the Kemmel Straight into turn 5, Lacombe, as 44.67 for Verstappen in the middle sector. So he's lost about a tenth and a bit there, as Hulkenberg goes full fastest in the first sector. He's gone 2 tenths faster than Piastri. Wow. That's as Antonelli goes, wow, second fastest. So drivers getting very quick there as Verstappen. How is he half a second off? Oh, it's a 44.4. Sorry, it was a 44.6 for Max in the middle sector. Not a 43.6, a 44.6. I was thinking, how's he half a second off? That's because his middle sector was a second slower than that of Piastri in the middle sector. Turn 8 is called Bruxelles. There we go, Bruxelles. So yeah, that's where Verstappen just lost. So is Max running so less downforce that he's losing time in the middle sector? Or did he get held up there by a car? I think Lance Stroll was potentially in his way. But yeah. Right, let's see. Lewis Hamilton on a push lap as well. Charles Leclerc green in the first and second sector. So improvements being made here. But he's only 6th fastest in the first and second sector, as he only moves up into P3. So let's see how they continue here. Nico Hulkenberg up into P8. Lando Norris at 30.3 in the first sector. So that indicates to me, and we'll have a look at top speeds in a moment, guys, as wow, Antonelli went fastest in the last sector. He's on a set of mediums as well. But that clearly looks that the McLaren is either running more downforce than that of their competitors, or they're running more fuel. We will have a look at the top speeds. The McLaren have always tended to run a little bit more downforce than their competitors throughout the majority of this season. So we'll see how they fare. Top 3 is normal now. Yeah, George Russell in there, 2 tenths back. Hamilton, not a good lap time from him, really. P6 there, 9 tenths down. It's about a tenth off of his teammate there. But we don't know. Of course, engine modes, fuel loads, etc. But let's keep an eye on Lando Norris, though. Lando Norris, no purples from him, but a 43.8. So he's 3 tenths down on his teammate in the middle sector. So he's not going to be as quick, unless he puts in a mega last sector. He's not going to be as quick as his teammate. No, he's not. Oh, it's a yellow. What's happened there? Has Behrman just gone off? But I think Behrman just ran into the gravel through turn 14. As Lando Norris did a 28.9 in the last sector. So, yeah, Lando Norris maybe locked up into the bus stop chicane there, I think, as he was finishing off his lap. As Verstappen says, still, yep, a bit weird for me. Mid-corner, I just can't really get good rotation, is what Max Verstappen is reporting at the moment, as he did go third fastest, with George Russell up there into P2 on a set of mediums. So that's interesting, but they've decided to use the mediums as well, because the medium is to be used in SQ1 and SQ2. As Lando, what did Lando do? Lando, did he go off somewhere, or did he just back out of it? Lando just completely backed out, I think, of the last sector. He didn't lock up into the bus stop chicane, so... Ocon flying at the moment. Ocon did a 43.5, so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. 4 push laps. So just watching Lando Norris now. He's on board to see what he did. And... oh, Lando ran through the gravel in Stavlo, which is turn 14. So out of the exit of turn 14, he ran through the gravel. So that's why he backed out, and that's why he was a second down. So, but Ollie Behrman on a push lap now. Is he on a push lap? I think Ollie Behrman is maybe on a push lap. As oh my goodness, as Ollie Behrman did indeed go for the gravel through turn 14 Stavlo, as he lost. As similarly to Lando, he had a snap of oversteer through that corner. So maybe there's a gust of wind through there, but he's catching them out at this stage, this late stage of this session, as we have 1.5 minutes remaining. Have I done a poll for sprint quality? No, I will do. I will run a poll shortly when you can head over to the stream, so do not fear. Bruxelles is pronounced Bruxelles. Okay, Bruxelles. French was never my strong point. Wanted to see the difference, perhaps 2 seconds a lap compared with the hard. Yeah, I mean, the hard is a C1 as well, so it is, yeah, considerably slower. And that was Pirelli's enticement for this weekend, was to kind of push them away from using the C1 if it is going to be dry conditions. But seems that it may not even be used this weekend, of course, with weather on the way, so... Be with you shortly. Oh, I ain't doing that. So that. At college today, first day, a little busy and taking Dormer. Oh, nice one as well. Hope it goes well for you. What do I think of the driving style differences in Lando versus Oscar? What do you think they prefer? To be honest, I haven't dug into the detail of their driving styles, to be honest with you. So I can't comment. But there we go. Checkered flag. That is the session over and done with. Oscar Piastri tops the timing screens there on a set of softs. George Russell second, nearly a half a second back, as is Max Verstappen as well on a set of softs. So, yeah, interesting there. Did noticeably see, and we'll have a look at the sector times now. So you can see here that the McLarens dominating the middle sector in particular, as we mentioned, where a little bit more downforce is required. So you can see that Piastri and Norris comfortably quickest, the only drivers in the 43-second range, with Norris to improve there as well on his run compared to his teammates. But the first sector, look at them, 11th and 14th. So we'll have a look at top speeds, and it's quite damning, to be honest, to see the top speed difference of Max Verstappen, who is top, and the McLarens, who are down there in 11th and 14th. And then the last sector, well, Lando bowed out of it because he had an off at turn 14. Piastri losing a bit there compared to Verstappen, who was 2 tenths quicker. So interesting setup choices being seen here. Good for the race, low downforce. Maybe not so good for qualifying, of course. But are the McLarens maybe running too much downforce? That will be the question, because it could leave them sitting ducks at the start of the race, of course, tomorrow. But if it is wet weather conditions, then a more downforce dependent setup is going to be preferential for you, and maybe that's what they're aiming for. Max is still on a push lap. Oh, he was, yeah, sorry. I didn't see that. Apologies. I didn't see he was on a push lap still. So he went even quicker in the first sector. I didn't see anyone else on a push lap at the moment. Tsunoda's on a push lap, I think, or was, as he comes through the last corner. Let's keep an eye on him. No, Tsunoda's crawled across the line by the looks of it. Look at him. Tsunoda okay? Has he had an off there? There's no yellow flag, but Tsunoda's crawling. Or is he doing... Oh, no, he's doing a start procedure. That's what he's doing. They're doing a... he's doing a start procedure. Do not fear, guys. Do not fear. Right, so let's have a look at the speed traps then, shall we? And, well, you can see here that, well, Sector 1, 346 kilometres an hour, Max Verstappen. Look at Norris down here, 338, 340 for Piastri. That is a big, big difference in speed there. But, of course, in the middle sector, well, Piastri's top at 218 and Verstappen is down in the bottom 3, 211. So you can see the difference in setup configurations with downforce, less downforce being run on Max's car. As I said, I think that's the approach they was always going to take anyway. You think it'll be a good weekend for the Mercedes team? Maybe, maybe. I think Red Bull need to put some downforce on. Definitely, Connor. I mean, he was saying that he was struggling on rotation with the car, and that would provide him, obviously, that, wouldn't he? So I know it's just a practice session, but that's a really disappointing session for Ferrari. Thoroughly disappointing, Ben. Not great. It's not great. A full second back. I don't know if they got held up in their laps. I wasn't paying too much attention to them. But we don't know fuel loads and things. It does seem like Hamilton, from his top speed, he's running a bit more downforce. As we know, he's running a different rear wing to Charles Leclerc. But yeah, intriguing, because what are they going to take approach-wise for sprint quali? What are they going to set up? Because, I mean, you look at it, the weather, I'm just going to update it for myself. 3 hours time. It's saying it's going to be a dry quali later. Maybe some rain. I mean, I don't know. It's all over the place, to be perfectly honest with you. They are planning on doing no overtaking for the races. I'm just hoping if it's wet for the races, Mercedes doesn't repeat their strategy that they did last weekend. That shirt is paying off again. Oh, I'm keeping it on. Don't care. Keeping it on. Wear it always. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some analysis from the teams and their drivers between now and qualifying and how they decide to set up the car. They'll be keeping an eye on the weather reports, of course, as well. But yeah, McLaren, we know, are the quickest car. They've got the all-round best package. The thing is that let's say, yes, they do qualify on pole, right? And they lock out the front row. The start, and it's a dry start for the sprint race tomorrow. They'll be very susceptible to being overtaken by those running the lower downforce package in dry conditions at the end of the Kemmel Straight. If they hold on to it, then they should be able to drive away with the advantage they've got in the corners. But yeah, I think with DRS and with the top speed advantage, but at the moment, I mean, quali-wise, it doesn't look a good choice. But for race, this is a race where obviously you want the top speed. So, you read next year's cars will be set higher with no ground effects. There's still going to be ground effects, just less of it. Yeah, as you said, Mike, just less of it. So the floors. Okay. So they're limiting the amount of development that can be done to the underside of the car. So they're wanting to reduce the element. They want to reduce the amount of downforce created for the underside of the car. But then they said that, to be honest, they said that with these regs. They started off saying that the floor edges were going to be flat. Like, you're not allowed to basically tailor them. And as the years have gone on in this regulation set, they've just allowed teams to go completely ham on them and do what they want, and that's unfortunately throws off more dirty air from the cars. It provides the car. It's made the cars obviously considerably quicker as well, and yeah, that's why obviously racing, the dirty air effect has got even bigger. So the FIA kind of lost their bottle really at the start of this regulation set. So we'll see if they are able to do that with these new ones and actually stand their ground. So. What time am I back on before SR Quali? I'll be back on half an hour before, Mick. So the stream is set up already. Once I end this stream, it will send you straight over, which I'm going to do very shortly because the little one is looking at me and is thinking, where is my lunch? Where is my lunch right now? So yeah, same as previous regs with how the ground effect works. That baby wants to be on the live. She's been on the live already. I'm the star of the show. We all laughed at McLaren in Silverstone qualifying and realised how good the setup was in the main race. I know one laughed at them. I didn't laugh at them. I think I was more surprised at Max's performance in that setup overall. But yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be qualifying. He's probably not going to be the be-all and end-all here this weekend because of, obviously, it's about choosing that you've got the right setup for the race. That because of the weather conditions. That's what's going to be super key here this weekend. So qualifying is still going to be close, but we may see larger gaps than we normally see because of the setup choices that teams are going for. I think the likes of Verstappen and Ferrari and Mercedes, they know they need to gamble to get an advantage over McLaren. They always have to try and at least get ahead of McLaren at the end of the first lap because the McLaren isn't this all-supreme car in dirty air. We've seen that at, let's say, like Canada and multiple circuits this year. So there is an opportunity here this weekend to, okay, let's say McLaren even lock out the front row. If Max, as we mentioned, has got that lower downforce setup, he's got that top speed advantage, it'll be kind of all or nothing for him to get into the lead into turn 5. For the race on Sunday and for the sprint race tomorrow. So, Max, sure I am. Yeah, Max did what Lewis did in 2021 and ran a super low wing to get pole. And if they are running more wing, it will be near impossible to pass. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So McLaren are banking on, but yeah, basically locking out the front row and holding on to that lead at the end of the first lap if they can do so. Otherwise, yeah, they're in pretty shit streak, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's going to be an intriguing sprint qualifying and intriguing weekend ahead. That is the one and only practice session for this weekend. Let's see what they decide to set up and choose. And what is the weather going to do in 3 hours' time? That is it, guys. I'm going to go feed little one. And I will see you, and myself as well. And we will see you in, I think, 3 hours' time. This will send you over to that stream, so hit the like button, turn those notifications on, and just leave the stream open. And we will see you shortly. Cheers, guys. Bye.